Welcome to episode number 3. Hi, and welcome to Your Selling Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Kirk, aka Your Selling Guide. I'm a small town girl who took a big risk and quit a steady corporate desk job to travel the U.S. in an RV. Along the way, I started selling on Amazon, grew a 7-figure business, visited all the lower 48 states, bought a farm, and today I am still doing what I love to do, selling on Amazon while helping other sellers do it too. Each week, I will share Amazon tips and tricks and bring in guests to share their stories, expertise, and tips on the platforms that they use. Think of this as a sit down with your Amazon bestie where you can learn, ask, start, and grow your online selling business. Welcome to Your Selling Pod. Hey crew, and welcome back to episode number 3. In today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through some of the Amazon seller rookie mistakes and how you can best avoid them. Mistakes are a huge part of being a business owner and an Amazon seller, and I would say it actually makes you a better seller by stepping in it. So don't be afraid to make those mistakes. However, there are some that are common and can be costly. So if you can avoid them by learning from me and other members of the Your Selling Guide community, hopefully that'll help you avoid them. If you missed the last episode, I covered the basics of retail arbitrage and fulfilled by Amazon or FBA. So if you need to, you can pause right here and head back there for more specifics on RA and FBA. In addition to launching this podcast this year, I am also super excited to be hosting meetups across the U.S. Our first one is happening March 3 and 4 in St. Augustine, Florida. But if you miss it or you can't make it, be sure to head to yoursellingguide.com/meetup for details on the next ones. Or you can follow me on Instagram at YourSellingGuide to be the first to know of the next meetup. Okay, starting from the top, rookie mistake number 1, simply not starting. Maybe you've thought about starting selling on Amazon, you've watched some of my videos or other sellers' videos, you've heard about it from a friend and thought, that looks interesting. Maybe you've even begun the process of opening your Amazon seller account and still you are dragging your feet, waiting for the right time or the right moment. Take it from me, you have to make the moment happen. I started in 2017, and I think between the weeks that I set up my account and finally buying a single inventory purchase was 11 weeks. 2.5 months. You do not need to wait that long. Yes, setting up an Amazon account can take a week or 2 to be verified and before you're ready to go and it's all approved. But you do not need more than that. You don't need to let months go by. So if you're thinking this is something that you want to do it. Just start. Test it out and see. We all get analysis paralysis, and I am here to tell you that I can teach you, others can teach you how to sell on Amazon, but until you actually start doing it, it's really not going to make a whole lot of sense. You really do learn this business model by doing it. Now, you can shelter yourself a little bit. You can have a set amount of money that you are willing to invest into this business, but once you have that, start. Start scanning for items, make the purchase. I promise you, some will be bad purchases. Absolutely. But I have a ton of resources out there to help you minimize those bad purchases. And inevitably, you are going to make that bad purchase. But if you get out there and make that mistake, you're going to learn so much about it in the process. I still make bad purchases today. It happens. It's going to happen. Once you get going and you send in your inventory, your first shipment to Amazon, and the pieces begin to click in your mind and you get it, you get hooked. When you get your first sell on Amazon, you are off and running and you are seeing the possibilities. None of that's going to happen if you don't just start. The other thing to keep in mind and why you want to start already is because once you do sell an item on Amazon, it can take 4 to 6 weeks before you ever see any significant payout. It's a slow process for the first 3 months, so you don't want to put it off and make it last even longer than you have to. Get out there and start. Similar to mistake number 1 is mistake number 2, waiting too long to send your inventory into Amazon. YSG community member Jillian shared, "My biggest mistake was waiting too long to send in inventory. I ended up collecting 3 or 4 items here and there, and I didn't have enough time for FBA shipments. By the time I did send them in, the price had started to tank and I lost profit." Prices can change pretty rapidly on Amazon, so if you hold stuff for a few weeks, the price may already start to slip. A typical sourcing week for me includes packing everything up the day or the day after I got it, and I send it into Amazon. Now, it does help that I live in an RV and there's only so much room to store all this stuff anyways, but getting your items off and stocking your Amazon shelves is the key to making the most profit you can. If you only have a few items, as soon as you think your shipment is good enough, send it in. I usually recommend waiting until you have about 30 units. Now, this is not 30 different products. This is just 30 items, 30 units total to send to Amazon. That can be 3 of different items, so say you have 10 of each. It could be 15 different products and you only have 1 to 4 of each. I will say that the one great thing is that if you do have just a few items, you can go ahead and list them FBM, fulfilled by merchant, or as I like to call it, fulfilled by me. You can get those products up and possibly selling while you wait to have a few more to make an FBA shipment. Now, the reason I recommend 30 units for your shipment is because you want to have enough that the shipping cost to send it to Amazon doesn't totally eat up whatever profit you were hoping to make. So sending 5 to 10 items can still cost you $20 in shipping. And now that your item, it was making $5 in profit, now it might only be making 1 to 3. However, if you find that you're waiting a week, 2 weeks just to send off a shipment, go ahead and send it because it will do more for you and your forward momentum to see that it's working and selling than holding that stuff back and seeing that it's tanking. Rookie mistake number 3, buying something that doesn't have a rank. If it does not have an Amazon bestseller rank, or as we just call it rank, that means it isn't being sold or it's so new that it hasn't sold yet. Either way, it ain't selling fast. As a retail arbitrage seller, you want to really buy stuff that you know is going to sell. It's almost like a no-brainer. You want to sell things within a month or 2, and the way to ensure something is going to sell quick is to make sure it has a rank that has proven that. So if you're totally new to Amazon, the seller app will tell you the rank. If it doesn't have a rank on it, it doesn't have a rank. So say we have a toy that's ranked 1400 in toys and games category. You can use the free tools like junglescout.com/estimator, which is a free estimator to see how many a month will sell at certain ranks. I will just tell you that 14,000 is a great rank in toys. It's going to sell. But if you stumble on something that has awesome profit, but it's ranked 2,500 in toys, will that item sell? So junglescout.com/estimator says it will sell 30 a month. That's all well and fine, but if there are 30 other sellers on it, then you're maybe going to make 1 sell a month. Now, this is a very high level, breezed over look at sales ranks. I have a whole free guide that walks you through all of this step by step, as well as gives you my safe rank cheat sheet so that you will know if an item is ranked in X category, it has X rank if you're good to buy it. You can get the free download at yoursellingguide.com/rank. Again, all of these notes will always be in the show notes should you need them. The main thing I want to make sure that you're taking away from this is that the item has a rank. When you're starting out, you need that item to have a rank. As you get selling and get more comfortable, of course, you can move into higher ranks. You can test out items with no ranks, test whatever you want. But my advice to new sellers to help you make the most out of your limited capital is to make sure that things that you buy are going to sell quick, and the rank is what helps you know if it's going to sell quick. Mistake number 4 from YSG community member Linda, forgetting to check expiration dates. And I will say I have done this, and I still sometimes do this. It is the absolute worst when I spend, 5-10 minutes evaluating a product in store only to see that the expiration date is past or that it is too close. I have wasted so much time, and I still do. Checking the expiration date on a product that has an expiration date is your first go-to before ever analyzing anything else. For grocery items and beauty items, anything with an expiration date, it needs to be 90 days out technically for Amazon, but 120 minimum is what I suggest. The 120 days will give time to account for the time that you're going to ship it, and it's going to move around Amazon's warehouses until it's sold. So 120 days is a good buffer, but you really want to check that expiration date. Like I said, before you ever do anything else with a product, check the expiration date. Mistake number 5 comes from YSG community member Melina. My biggest mistake as an Amazon seller was quitting selling when things got tough instead of getting better at sourcing and understanding the whole process. You guys, so many people quit. It is hard. If someone's out there telling you it's easy money, don't believe them. Run. It is not easy money. It is work. But there is money out there if you put in the work. And you have to learn and you have to make those mistakes and learn from them. It's going to be frustrating and it's going to be hard. There are things that you can do to make your life easier, like getting ungated in profitable categories like grocery, toys, health, and beauty, which is why I personally created the ungating guides for new sellers, because I want sellers to have success, and getting ungated as soon as you possibly can will help make you more profitable faster, and it'll make your business a little bit easier. There is this freedom lifestyle available out there for anyone who's willing to put in the work, but you do have to do that, put in the work. Just like Melina says, she gave up initially when it got hard instead of digging in and learning to make it easier for herself. You never stop learning as a business owner. Things are always changing on Amazon. So the main story I want to get across is don't give up. Give it at least 6 months to try it. Because at 6 months, you'll really know, you'll have the hang of it, and you'll be able to see if this thing is working, if you're giving it a 100% try. And you can do this part-time. I have done it part-time, and I still do it part-time. I've always done it part-time. But you really do have to give it a try and put in the work. If you give up, it's not going to work. Amazon rookie mistake number 6, sending an inventory on the wrong listing. I have done this, and you can ask for your products back from Amazon, but they usually do not arrive in great condition. When you're outsourcing, you want to make sure that you've check, double check, whatever you're holding in your hand is exactly the same as the listing that you plan to list it on Amazon. Sometimes there are hidden multi-packs, and maybe there are like different ounces to the product, and it's not exactly the same. From time to time, you'll come across things that are new packaging only, and that is totally fine. You can sell those as long as what's inside the actual packaging is the same. Mistake number 7, going too deep. If an item looks too good to be true, it probably is. I have been burnt so many times, you'd think I'd have learned by now. But once I bought 100 of an Olay lotion pump from Ollie's because it was cheap. It was selling for $20. I was going to make $10 profit. So I checked my Keepa charts, I looked at the price history, the sales rank history, it all looked good. Too good. I bought 80. And guess what? There was an issue with the pump of the lotion when it came out. It was defective. So I lost money on the returns, and I lost money when I ultimately scrapped them all. You will always hear me encourage you to go wide on a variety of different items instead of deep. So what wide means is you're buying 4 of this item and 6 of this item and maybe 10 of that item and 2 of another item instead of going deep and buying 80 of one lotion. In fact, I recommend testing every item you buy to see if it's going to sell. I usually test buy every item, every new item I've scanned. I will buy 4 to 12 depending on how much it costs me, how heavy it is, how much prep is going to be required, how big it is. And sometimes I even just test 1 to 2 to see. Once it sells, then I'll go buy more. But if something should go wrong with it, then I'm not losing out a bunch of money like I was on the 80. Also, if you have gone wide and not deep, then you're not hurting when one of your product tanks because you have hundreds of other products out there. There's so much that goes into selling on Amazon, but I hope the main thing that you take out of these new seller mistakes is not to be overwhelmed. None of them are all that bad, and none of them in the grand scheme of things are all that costly. They are minor setbacks to your business, and you will most definitely learn from them. So don't stress about possibly making a mistake. You guys, you are 100% going to make a mistake. As long as you keep learning from the mistakes and moving forward to become a better seller, you will be. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week, I will be back with Amazon seller Becky Stillman, who took what she learned from me and grew it into a 6-figure Amazon selling business all in under a year. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and check out the video on YouTube at Your Selling Podcast. You can learn more from me about all things Amazon at yoursellingguide.com. And if you have a question, you're a member of the YSG community, or you know someone who would make a great podcast guest, email me at podcast@yoursellingguide.com. Until next week, happy sourcing.